Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is the 13th session of our Boolean algebra chapter, and today we are going to learn product of sums form. Okay. So in the last session we had learned about sum of products. Today it's going to be canonical product of sum forms. Okay. So when a Boolean expression is represented purely as a product of max term, it is said to be in canonical product of sum form. Okay. Now max term is something we learned previously, isn't it? So we can write it something like x, y plus z. If we write it in this form, then this is called as a max term. Okay. So this form of expression is also referred as max term, canonical form of Boolean expression. Fine. So in order to find a canonical product of some form of a given Boolean expression, there are two methods we will follow, which first one is a truth table method, another one is a algebraic method. Okay. So first let us go ahead and see how we are going to do it using the truth table method. Now the steps to be followed in order to do that is prepare a table of inputs and outputs. Now the similar thing we had done for the sum of products also. Okay, I hope you remember. But here there is a small difference. Now what is that difference? Let's go ahead and see. So once we prepare the input truth table, next add one additional column of sum terms. Okay, so here we are doing a sum term column, wherein which in the sum of products we were adding the product terms. Right, now for each row of the table, a sum term is formed by adding all the variables in the complemented or uncomplemented form. That is, if the input value of the given variable is 1, variable is complemented. So here it is going to be other way. Okay, if the value is 1, then we are going to complement it, and if the value is 0, then we are going to not complement the same. So when we do it with the example, I think it is going to be more clear. Okay, we have an example here. So express the product of sums from the Boolean function f of x, y, z, and the truth table for which is given below. Okay. Previous session we had seen we were given a question itself where they had explained us what is going to be the input and what is going to be the output. Okay. Here see the different method of asking question. Here they have given us a truth table and they are asking us to find the max term. So it can be asked in both the ways. Okay. So now we already have a truth table in the question. So we know that for these inputs, the output is going to be this. Now let us add another column, which is the max term. Okay. Now how are we going to find out? Wherever there is 1, we are going to write the complement of it. Okay. So see here x is 0, y is 0, z is 0. So we are writing it x, y, z because the values are 0. But here if you see the z is 1, that is why we are complementing the z. Right. Whenever there is y is complemented, we are complementing the y. I hope this is clear. So first thing is, irrespective of whatever the output is, we are going to write the max term for all the rows. The next step is, now wherever there is 0 in the result, okay, f is nothing but the result. So wherever there is a 0 in the result, that we are going to multiply, as in those max term we are going to multiply. Now where do we have zeros here? We have over here, okay, and then here. So in 3 places we have zeros. Now what we are going to do, the result is going to be something like this: x plus y z bar into, so it is going to be a product of the sums. So this is nothing but sums. We are doing a product of that. So y bar plus z bar, x bar plus y plus z bar. So this is what the result we will get for this particular given question. So this is one way of finding the canonical product of sum form. Okay, so this is what the result is. So let's move on. Next method. So that was a truth table method. Next, let's see the algebraic method. What are the steps need to be followed? So first rule is simplify the given expression using the appropriate theorems and rules. Now what are these theorems and rules? These are nothing but the Boolean theorems and rules which we had learned in the previous sessions, right? Second rule is to convert into a product of sums form, apply the Boolean algebra rule, this particular rule. This is nothing but our distributive law, isn't it? So this we are going to use on the simplified form, right? Once we do that, again we are going to simplify it, and at the end, whatever the expression we get, or what we are going to do after converting into the product of sum term, in a sum term for a missing variable, add this one. So here we are going to, suppose we have xy, and if z is missing, we are going to write it as, this is going to be x plus y, so z is missing, so it is going to be x plus y plus z into z bar. So that is what they are saying. They are saying missing variable and complement of the missing variable, which is nothing but something like this. Okay. Now keep on simplifying the expression using the rule, this one, until you get the product of sum terms which are max terms. Okay. So removing all the duplicate terms, we get the desired canonical product of the sum of expression. Fine. So let's go ahead and see one example. It will be clear. So the example is express x bar y plus y of z bar into z bar plus y into a canonical product of sums form. Now this has to be in the canonical sum of product. That is something like x plus y plus z, isn't it? X plus y plus z. This is just example I am giving. The result of this should be something like this. Okay. So how are we going to do? The rule one is simplify, isn't it? So let's simplify it. So we can keep it as it is. Z we can multiply. This one we can multiply into z bar and y. So what do we get? So y, and we will get something like this. Now we know that z into z bar is nothing but z bar. Okay. By now we know all these rules. So yz I'm going to write as it is. Now that I have simplified this, I can go ahead and take out z bar, isn't it? Because z bar is common here. So what I'm doing, I'm writing x bar y as it is. Y and z bar I'm taking out. So when I take out, what am I left with? 1 plus y. And we always know that whenever we are doing our operation with a variable with y, the answer is always y. So this entire thing becomes 1. Okay, so we are left with x bar y and y and z bar. Okay, so this is the simplified expression we found as of now. So what was the rule number 2? We are going to use the rule. Which rule is that? X plus yz is equals to x plus y and x plus z. This rule we are going to apply on the simplified expression, whatever we get. Right. Now see here carefully. Let me write that expression once again. Xy, x plus yz, then it becomes x plus y, x plus z. Right. Now see here, we are going to consider this entire thing as x and this as y and z. So what happens now? We can write it as x bar y. Okay, so this is our x term. We're multiplying first with y. Adding it with y, and then we are multiplying the whole sum into x plus z. Okay, I hope this step is clear. Now let us further simplify them. So I'm reshuffling for the better understanding. I'm writing y here and I'm writing z this side. Nothing but I've not done anything. I've just moved them here. Okay. Now this can be further simplified using this rule, isn't it? So I'm further simplifying it. What I'm doing, first I'm writing y and x bar, and then I'm writing y into y. Okay, so this is that step. Here also I can simplify this z bar plus x bar y using this particular rule. Then it becomes z bar plus x bar and then z bar plus y, isn't it? So that is what is happening here also. So in both the places we are again applying the same rule and we are getting this instruction as in this step. Next, see here, y into y plus y is always y. Whenever we do our operation of the same variable with itself, we will get the same element. So this is just reshuffled and written, and then we can keep the rest of the terms like that only. So we are we got this particular expression now. So what was the rule number 3? Rule number 3 was, once we do the rule number 2, that is applying the particular distributive law, next we are going to add the missing variables, isn't it? So this is what the expression we found in the after simplifying them. Now see here, what is the variable missing here? We have x here, we have y here, but z is missing. Here we have y, but x and y, z is missing. Here we have x and z, but y is missing. Here we have y and z, but x is missing. So see here carefully, what we are doing is we are adding with the variable and the complement of that variable, right? So we have x bar y plus z into z bar. We have x into x bar plus y, which is already we have, and then we are adding z and z bar. Here y is missing, so we need to add y and y bar. In here we have x is missing, so we are adding x and x bar. Okay, so this is how we are going to do. Next, further we are going to simplify it. Now, how are we going to simplify? Since this is a little bit complicated one, what we can do is we can take one term each. Okay, so that's what I've done here. I'm taking first term and I'm simplifying. Now, here the simplification can be done how? The same rule, this distributive law should be, you should be knowing it very well, then it will be very helpful. Okay, so this is the rule, x plus z, isn't it? So what is happening here? So see, here the x bar and y, whatever is there, the x bar y, we are taking it as x, and this is our z, and z bar is going to be y, z. Now apply this particular rule. So what happens? We are writing x bar plus y and z first, and then x bar plus y, z bar. Okay, so this is nothing but our m4 and m5. How is this m4 and m5? Because whenever there is a bar or a complement of a variable, we are taking as 1 in max term or product of sums. Okay, and this is nothing but 0 0, so this becomes 4. And here again, this is 1, this is 0, this is 1. Now this is nothing but 5. So always max term is represented with the capital M, and the min term is always represented with the small letter m, isn't it? So this we can write it as m4 and m5, right? So we have the simplified, or we have got the notation for the first term, okay, which is this one. Next, let's take this particular term, which is x bar plus y plus z bar. Now, how can we simplify this? The same method we are going to use here. First, we will take this as a x and this as a yz. We are multiplying this with z, and then we are multiplying this with z bar. Okay, so we got this. Now, what we can do is we are again taking this as x, okay, and multiplying this with x and x bar. Similarly here we are doing, okay. So if you want, for I will write it here. Suppose I have y plus z plus x bar, okay. So here this becomes x, this becomes my yz. So using this rule, how can I write? I will write y plus z plus x and y plus z plus x bar. Okay, here we have done nothing but we have written it in a proper, in a ordered way, where x is first and then y and then z. Okay, so that's all the difference here. We have simplified using the same distributive law here, so that one term becomes two term, and similarly this one also has been expanded using the same law. Fine. Next, what happens now? Here it is nothing but, without complemented variable is nothing but 0 0. This becomes 1 0 0. This becomes 1 0 1. This is nothing but 0 0 1. Okay, which is nothing but, now 0 0 0 is nothing but m0. Okay, 1 0 0 is nothing but m4. 1 0 1 is nothing but m5, and 0 0 1 is nothing but m1. Okay, so what we are doing is we are taking each term and breaking down, simplifying it and writing it in the shorthand form. Okay, next let us take this term. So what happens here? Again we are using x bar. So x bar
z bar becomes our x, and then we are multiplying it with y and y bar. Okay, so we will get this particular expression. So what happens here? This is nothing but 1 0 1 1 1 1. Here this means 5 and this means 7. Okay. Next, let's take the last term, which is xx bar plus y plus z bar. Now, when we simplify this again, this becomes our x, this is our y and z. When we multiply or using the distributive law, we will get this particular statement. Now, this is 0, 0, 1 and 1, 0, 1. Okay, this is nothing but 1 and 5. Okay, so now when we compile or combine them together, for the first term, what did we get? We got M4 and M5. For the second one, we got M0, M4, M1, and M5. For the third one, we got M5 and M7. For the fourth one, we got M1 and M5. Isn't it? Now, this entire expression is nothing but adding all these, which is nothing but these. Now, if we remove the duplicate, finally, what do we get? So, these are all the shorthand forms we found, isn't it? Now, if we were to remove, we have M4, M5, M0, M4 is coming again, M1, M5, M5, M7, M1 we already have, and then M5. So we are left with what? 4, 5, 0, 7, isn't it? And 1. So finally, the SOP or the sum of the product of some expression of the given expression is M of 0, 1, 4, 5, 7. Okay, this is nothing but this. Okay, now how do we convert this given shorthand form into a canonical expression? We had learned this for min term. Now let us see how do we do it for the max term. Okay. Now min term, it is represented as sigma, isn't it? Now for the max term, we represent it using 5. Okay. So 5 of 0, 1, 4, 5 is equal to 5 of m of 0, 1, 4, 5. If we get to see in any of these two terms, this nothing but max term or the product of some form. Okay, so whenever we are given something like this, we can simply write it in this form, that is f is equal to m0, m1, m4, m5, m7. Okay, so now this m0 is nothing but, what do we mean by 0? All zeros, isn't it? M0 is all zeros. Just convert them into the binary form. Okay, so 1 is nothing but 0, 0, 1, 4 is nothing but 1, 0, 0, 5 is nothing but 1, 0, 1, and 7 is nothing but 1, 1, 1. Now how do we write it in the expression form? Wherever there is 0, we will write the variable without complement. Wherever there is 1, we will write the variable with the complement. Okay, so this max term and min term, they have the opposite rules. You should be very thorough with where you are going to use what, right? So now easily we can write it 0, 0, 0 as x plus y plus z. 0, 0, 1 is nothing but x plus y plus z bar. 1, 0, 0 is nothing but x bar plus y plus z. M5, which is 1, 0, 1, is nothing but x bar plus y plus z bar. M7 is nothing but 1, 1, 1, which is nothing but x bar, y bar, z bar. Okay, so I hope whenever you get a max term in the form pi of, suppose it is 5 and 7, you will be able to write it in the form of this expression. Now how will you write it? This is nothing but m5 m7, isn't it? 5 is nothing but 1, 0, 1 and 1, 1, 1, isn't it? How do you write this? X bar y, so this is going to be like this, plus z bar and x bar plus y bar plus z bar. Now this is the canonical sum, so product of some form of the given expression or the given shorthand form. This is how we convert from a shorthand form to the expression, right? I hope this is clear to you all. So next is sum term versus max term and product term versus min term. Now what is the difference between them? When we say sum term and the max term and the product term and the min term. Now a sum term means sum of variables. Okay, it is just a sum of variables. It does not necessarily mean that all the variables must be present. Suppose the variable in a given expression is x, y, z, but I have x plus y. This is a sum term. Okay, but for it to be a max term, even the z also should be present, right? So this is not a max term, but this is a sum term. Fine. So that is the difference between a sum term and a max term. Similarly, in the min term or a product term means product of variables. If I say xy, this is a product term. Suppose the variables are x, y, z. There is z is missing here, so we cannot call it as a min term, okay? Because min term means product of all the variables. So that is what the difference between a sum term and the max term, and product term and our min term. Okay, I hope this is clear, students. So that's all in the session today. So see you all soon. Take care.